Hi, my name is Kennedy, and my daddy is a history teacher, and I made this in class one day with a pinch pot. And Daddy is going to teach history about history. Right, Daddy?
Right. Thank you. Okay, so today let's talk about, for APUSH history, we're going to talk about the Missouri Compromise. So we're going to get into some of the details with what happened with that. This is the first try of me making a video for a lecture, so bear with me. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are hanging in there with the coronavirus situation. And you guys can email me anytime, graymond@cpsge.org. So this is for AP US History, Period 4, Period 5. I'm going to talk about the Missouri Compromise. If I can figure out a way to make a clip of a map, I'm going to put the map up and we'll talk about it that way. But just a little bit about the Missouri Compromise. This was happening in 1820, so we're at a time where we had just finished the War of 1812. Okay, that ends in 1815, and we are starting to turn our attention as a country from war with Britain to westward expansion. And so westward expansion is on the priority list for the United States of America. We've already expanded with the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. We had just come to an agreement with Spain over the Florida territory, and we had purchased Florida from them in 1819. Okay, so we're starting to add territory, and as we start to shift the population of the country out to the west, we're going to run into some problems because of the slavery issue. Because you had an even number of free states and slave states. In the north, you had the states that had abolished slavery, starting right after the Revolution, and then of course in the South you had slavery that was legal, and so purely coincidentally, mostly, you had an even number of free and slave states. I believe at this time it was 10 free states and 10 slave states. And so as the territories in the West start to become ready to become states, it becomes more pressing of an issue that the issue primarily will be, is that state going to be a free state or a slave state? And this all came to a head with the Missouri territory, because Missouri is kind of right in the middle. And I'll be able to show you on that map that Missouri was right in the middle of everything. And so it was kind of disputed whether or not Missouri was going to be a free state or slave state. The South, okay, and the political leaders of the South want Missouri to be the slave state, because they know if they lose their at least even number of slave states, if the North starts to outnumber the South in terms of having free states, then you could start to see some laws being passed in the U.S. Congress to limit slavery. And of course, the Southern politicians don't want that to happen. So they're going to push for Missouri to be a slave state. But the North is going to push for, you don't have a total anti-slavery political movement in the North, but you also don't want to see the South expand slavery, or at least get a majority in the Senate, because then they can make some pro-slavery laws and kind of protect their position on slavery. So you've got those two sides that are kind of have those opposite positions. So then Henry Clay, who is going to be a big factor here and a huge, important politician, one of the most important politicians in American history that wasn't ever president, he's going to step in and negotiate this compromise. He's going to pass and help pass a series of laws. This is not just one law, but a few laws. But it allows Missouri to enter the nation as a slave state. But in exchange for that, Maine is ready to become a state also. Maine is going to separate from Massachusetts and become a free state. So you keep that balance of free and slave states by the addition of Maine as a free, Missouri as a slave. But you also have a new part of this, which is going to be the drawing of the 3630 line. The drawing of the 3630 line is going to try to settle the issue for the states that are going to be coming in later times as we continue to expand into this Louisiana territory. And so anything north of 36 degrees latitude is going to be free territory. Anything south of that would be open to slavery. So that is at least a theory that these issues won't come up again and again. But as we get to the Mexican War in 1848, and we get all this new territory, then that issue will have to come up again. But okay, so that's it. Missouri Compromise. You guys now know the basics. Let me know if you have questions. Shoot me an email. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks.